Om Partaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavatam Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Kreditam Puranamunina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavashini Bhagavati Ashtadashadyayini Ambatvamanusantadami Bhagavad Gita Bhavatveshini.
So here he says, in order to gain that knowledge, we have two lifestyles.
Okay.
In order to gain that knowledge, we have two lifestyles. That is where you have to start, right?
Yes, two lifestyles.
The sannyasa and karma yoga.
Yes.
Here, if you look at it, sannyasa is karma sannyasa, and that is called vividisha sannyasa, which I have discussed before also. Vividisha sannyasa meaning veditum icha vividisha. Meaning, see, Swamiji used to say, the Nishtha is called lifestyle. Okay, lifestyle. And two lifestyles. Because truth cannot be two. Truth is only one. Jnanam, understanding is only one. But the lifestyle, very fact they are mentioning two can be only lifestyle. That is, one is Vividisha Sannyasa, another is Karma Yoga. But both have their focus only on Jnanam. Okay. But even though both were focused on Jnanam, one is already called Sannyasa. So sannyasa means you must already have Jnanam. That sannyasi is excluded from the whole discussion. That is the most important thing we have to understand in the 18th chapter. The sannyasa that is being talked about is not Vidvat sannyasa. The sannyasi who is already understood. He is kept out of discussion.
Okay.
So there are only two lifestyles. That is Veditum Vicha Vividisha Sannyasa for the purpose of study, exclusive study, pursuit of study, you take to sannyasa, pending knowledge. You have not yet, because if you are going to exclusively pursue knowledge means you have not yet got knowledge, right?
Yes.
So that is that sannyasa which is being talked about here. Vividisha sannyasa meaning Veditum Icha sannyasa. The other sannyasa, normal sannyasa which Shankara talks about in all the Upanishads talk about is Vidvat sannyasa. The sense, person who has understood, and that is called Putreshanayaha, Vitteshanayaha, Lokeshanayaha, Vyuttaya, Bhikshacharyam Charanti. So yes, all the things, karmas have dropped off themselves. Like Loka Kshanaya, Vitta, Karma, Putra, everything has dropped themselves from him because he is already crossed in the sense to be done karma has freed him from to be done karma. That is typically what is told. By doing all your life properly, living your life properly, by karma yoga and all that, and by studying, you have understood. So all the associations drop like themselves. Putreshanaya, Vitteshanaya, Lokeshanaya, they drop off and you live only on Bhiksha. The commitment is only, what do you call, tat chintanam, tat katanam, tat prabodhanam. You eat your what do you call, your life itself is contemplative and you talk only of the Atma Jnanam. Your chintanam also is like that. That is a sort of a commitment, and you have now just to keep your body going, you have Bhiksha. That's all. That is because of the prarabdha. The sense, people around you, you cannot commit suicide, right? Once you have understood, it doesn't mean that you have no connection with the world. That is true. That is why your name, everything is changed. As far as your worldly life is concerned, you are already dead. So your Aadhaar card and all are only for transaction purpose. You are not there. That is precisely told in the whole Shastra, the whole Homa, everything is tells like that. But for keeping you have no right over, because since your body, this body you have not created, you have no right to end it. You can only a managing trustee. You are only a managing trustee. So you have to keep it going. For that purpose, you need Bhikshacharyam Charanti. So that is the only thing. That is what all you have anything, you go and eat time and again to keep the body going. Rest of the things are all dropped off already. They themselves have given you up. So that is called Vidvat Sannyasa. That is typically what all the sense the Upanishads talk about and all. But Gita is very unique in the sense it talks extensively about Vividisha Sannyasa, a lifestyle, two lifestyles. One is for pursuing knowledge exclusively, another is to pursue knowledge along with karma. So that it's allowed. You are allowed to pursue knowledge exclusively, taking sannyasa. But there again, you are very much, you are still, since you don't have that knowledge and understanding, you are still very much an individual. Your individuality remains. When your individuality remains and you take sannyasa to study, since your individuality is remaining, you have to do karma yoga. You have to be a karma yogi, and even though you don't have the karma of the grahastha ashrama or being in the family, but to the society, to the guru, you will be working. So there will be some connections still going on along with the pursuit of study. That is precisely what has happened to all the people who have taken to the Vividisa sannyasa at the age of 20, 30 and all. So those people have a lot of connections going. It may not be family connection, it may be ashram connection,
Yes, yes.
other connection. So that is that you have to grow out of it over a period of time. But some people are able to do it, some people don't. Because it's an obligation. No? Once you have connection, you maintain it.
To gain that knowledge, we have two lifestyles, sannyasa and karma yoga. Here, sannyasa is karma sannyasa, the giving up of all obligatory karmas, also called vividisha sannyasa.
Vividisha sannyasa.
Vividisha sannyasa.
Vividisha meaning, you keep in mind very clearly, Veditu Icha Vividisha. That Icha becomes, Icha because of the grammar rule, become Sha. The Sha is, they say, in grammar also they say it is San Pratyaya, San ending. Sun ending meaning something very auspicious. Puja Swami used to say, it's an auspicious ending. And the grammar rule is a double desiderative. They say that. Veditum Micha, when it, Vivi, Jiji, Jigyasa means Jiji.
Oh.
Veditum Vivi. Twice it is repeating, no? Double desiderative. The duplication. It's called duplication.
Okay.
Because to emphasize that pursuit. Jignasa, to emphasize the pursuit of jnanam. Veditum Micha, to emphasize the pursuit of Veda Ichum, to knowledge. It is called Vividisha, Jignasa. Likewise, Kartum Micha, Chikirsha. All those Chikirsha. Kartum Micha is not Kikirsha, it is Chikirsha. This is a grammar called duplication, double desiderative, to emphasize, and generally they will have the San Pratyaya to make it reverential pursuit. Very sacred pursuit, don't take it lightly. Don't be very superfluous in that pursuit. It is not like going to market or something like that. Vividisha, Veditum Vicha means you have to be very sincere about it. Otherwise, you will not get you will be spending time like people, school going people uninterested. If they pursue some particular subject, they won't get knowledge. They may spend hours and hours, they may not get the knowledge unless you are interested. In the same way, this also, unless you are really interested, focused, then only Vividisha means, that is a Vividisha. Veditum Micha Vividisha Sannyasa. Yeah.
Here, sannyasa is karma sannyasa, the giving up of all obligatory karmas, also called vividisha sannyasa. And karma yoga is tyaga, renunciation of the result of action. This renunciation of results of action is called yoga because it is an indirect means for gaining the knowledge through antakarna shuddhi. Therefore, tyaga and yoga go together here. Because Arjuna does not see the difference between sannyasa and tyaga, he has a lingering doubt which is expressed in his question here. His doubt always is which of the two lifestyles, that is vividisha sannyasa or karma yoga, he should opt for. This time he does not ask which of the two is better, but that is not because his confusion on the issue is resolved.
So because see, here also, even though the Gita verse, Bhagavan's verse or Arjuna verse does not talk about Vividisha sannyasa and Vidvat sannyasa. He talks about sannyasa only. It is Shankara who is giving that explanation correctly, so that we don't. That is the beauty of the Vashyakara. Vashyakara is able to understand what is in Krishna's mind, what is in Arjuna's mind. It's very difficult. That is why you cannot learn this without a guru. You just read Bhagavad Gita, and if you look at all the translations, nobody will talk about Vividisha sannyasa that well as Shankara. So that is why through Guru only you should learn all these things. Otherwise, you may get misled. Yeah.
He
His
puts
doubt
the
is
same
always
question differently, presenting it as a desire to know the difference that exists between sannyasa and tyaga. Krishna understands the spirit of the question very well and therefore gives an elaborative, all inclusive answer. Certain questions do not have snap answers, and this is one of them. When Arjuna asks whether sannyasa or karma yoga is better, it is very clear that he does not understand either. The question itself
that is,
shows.
see, just imagine. Given after it's 18 chapters, Bhagavan thinks that Krishna Arjuna does not understand either. Just imagine, it's a damaging statement. And how about us? We have to look at ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is very clear that he does not understand either. The question itself shows the vagueness in his understanding. If you ask me what is the capital city of a given state, I can give a snap answer. But this is an entirely different question. It stems from a vast vagueness of the whole subject matter, and therefore it has to be answered with care. Arjuna's question here comes from the same vagueness that made him ask similar questions in the previous chapters. Lord Krishna had spent a lot of time on the issue, and Arjuna definitely must have understood it better each time, but still it is not clear. This time, instead of asking about sannyasa and karma yoga, he asks about sannyasa and tyaga and hopes to hear about his real issue, karma yoga and sannyasa. And his hope was fulfilled by Krishna. Here, Arjuna addresses Krishna as
In the Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga and Sannyasa represent two paths to the same spiritual goal, distinguished primarily by their
I'm sorry, my AI is on, so it is giving the is reading my voice and giving me the meaning of what we are reading. Sorry.
AI Guru.
Yeah, it is Google is speaking. So
So people are forgetting I. They are only depending on AI.
Instead of actual intelligence, they are going for artificial intelligence. They've given up on actual intelligence.
Correct.
still only one subject, Swamiji, is still keeping AI outside. I would say statistics is the only subject keeping AI outside, because still if you look at interquartile, mean, median, mode, those calculations cannot involve AI. AI will take some time to calculate. Brain only has to use the.
Yeah, but that is also they will get over. What they cannot get over is the metaphysical, where there is no data available. That because data depends on data, right? Metaphysical does not have data. That is where science as well as AI, for that matter, cannot reach beyond that point. Yeah.
Krishna understands the spirit of the question very well and therefore gives an elaborate, all inclusive answer. Certain questions do not have snap answers, and this is one of them. When Arjuna asks whether sannyasa or karma yoga is better, it is very clear that he does not understand either. The question itself shows the vagueness in his understanding. If you ask me what is the capital city of a given state, I can give a snap answer. But this is an entirely different question. It stems from a vast vagueness of the whole subject matter, and therefore it has to be answered with care. Arjuna's question here comes from the same vagueness that made him ask similar questions in the previous chapters. Lord Krishna has spent a lot of time on this issue, and Arjuna definitely must have understood it better each time, but still it is not clear. This time, instead of asking about sannyasa and karma yoga, he asks about sannyasa and tyaga and hopes to hear about his real issue, karma yoga and sannyasa. And his hope was fulfilled by Krishna. Here, Arjuna addresses Krishna as, O mighty armed Mahabaho, because Krishna was a man of valor. I want to know Veditum Ichchami, he says. The nature of sannyasasya tattvam. Nature of sannyasasya tattvam. Not only that, he wants to know the truth of tyaga separately, Tyagasya cha pritake. He addresses Krishna here with two more words as Rishikesha, the Lord of all the senses, the one who is the self of all, and because of whom the senses exist and function, and again as Keshi Nishudana, the destroyer of Keshi, an Asura who was in the form of a horse. He makes it clear that he wants to know Pruthak separately what is sannyasa and what is tyaga. Because he finds that Krishna uses these two words entirely differently and yet they seem to have the same meaning. Sannyasa means renunciation, but it also has a separate popular meaning. Since he is using these words differently, Arjuna wants to know more about the truth, tattva of tyaga, tattva, truth of tyaga, and sannyasa in the vision of Krishna. Although he says only Veditum Ichami,
No, no.
I want to
Actually,
know.
you read first way what you read it, that is correct. Arjuna wants to know more about the truth, tattva of tyaga and sannyasa. Actually, the comma between tattva and of tyaga can be removed.
Okay.
So, wants to know more about the truth. Truth means what? Tattva
Tattva
of
tyaga.
tyaga sannyasa in the vision of Krishna. Yeah.
Although he only says Veditum Ichami, I want to know, we understand, because of the context, that what is implied here is a request, please teach me. Lord Krishna teaches him, and thus we have the 18th chapter which elaborates extensively on sannyasa. This sannyasa, you explained two things, right? Vividisha and Vidvat.
Yeah.
So Vidvat sannyasa. So Swamiji.
Vidvat sannyasa is excluded from this calculation. See, he himself tells, Veditum Ichami. See, sannyasa generally people understand, even common people understand in India, a sannyasi means he knows.
Yes, yes.
So that is that the person who already knows is not in contention here. He is out of the equation. Only when he says Veditum Ichami means what? He doesn't know still. That is why he says Veditum Ichami. So that is what is that sannyasa? Is Vividisha sannyasa. A sannyasa as a lifestyle taken exclusively for the purpose of pursuit of knowledge. So that you are not disturbed by society, you are nityanemi karma. Okay, you don't have to do all these homas and other things, parayanam and all that. You can go for only knowledge. So that you are able to pursue. And the other is, along with karma, pursuing knowledge, karma yoga. And, hopefully that karma yoga, doing karma with as a karma pala tyagi, till as he was right now mentioning, by doing that karma pala tyagi, you will not be driven by karma because the results only drive you to do karma. Once you have the karma pala tyaga attitude, automatically your desires will come down. That will give you the space to pursue knowledge. Both are anyway to pursue knowledge. The objective is to pursue knowledge. Only the lifestyle is different. One is karma yoga, another is vividisa sannyasa. So that is how both are lifestyles. You must just remember that. The whole chapter, you have to remember lifestyle. Now, in the lifestyle, is now comparing. Bhagavan is going to tell which lifestyle is better for whom. He is going to tell. So, accordingly, we have to choose our lifestyles. So, for Arjuna, the prescription is very clear. You are already in the midst of a war. Your lifestyle has to be doing the karma and do whatever you are supposed to do, your duty. Nitya Naimati karma for him is war. You have to play the war straight away. And thereafter, retire for learning. Having done it properly, and that's precisely what they do. At the end of it, they all go away. So they pursue knowledge and they pursue tapas, whatever. Okay. And the other is exclusively taking to sannyasa, but that is ruled out for him already because he is in the midst of a war. You cannot derelict your responsibilities and run away and doesn't help you because it will be even if you go to Rishikesh, all your family will come in your mind along with you without buying tickets on you.
Yes, yes.
So the same thing with Arjuna will also happen. People come and throw stones at you. This fellow ran away from the war and all that. So it's not practical. That's what he says to Arjuna. But in the context of the Upadesha, we have to look at each one of us have to look at where we stand. Where is the space inside? Whether we are having enough space inside, enough tranquility inside, either by way of karma yoga or by pursuing knowledge exclusively, depending on circumstances where you are staged in life. Accordingly, you take to whatever you need to do to pursue knowledge. That is what we have to take it as a learning. For Arjuna, it is pretty obvious at the end of it. He has to go to Karma Yoga only. That he himself. That is why there will be a clear slant from Krishna towards Arjuna towards Karma Yoga. But he tells what Vividisa Sannyasa means and what is Karma Yoga means. Both he will explain. And we have to understand that learning from this.
Verse 2, the difference between sannyasa and
Verse
tyaga.
2, the difference between sannyasa and tyaga. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasam Sannyasam Kavayo Viduhu Sarva Karma Palatyagam Prahur Tyagam Vichakshanaha. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha said, Kavayaha, the wise, Kamyanam Karmanam, of actions for desired objects, Nyasam, renunciation, Sannyasam, as sannyasa, Viduhu, no, Vichakshanaha, the learned people, Sarva Karma Phalatyagam, the renunciation of the results of all actions, Tyagam, is Tyaga, Prahuhu, they say.
Swamiji, one small question. See, sometimes we are getting this, for example, just example I'm saying, Shakadapuram Bariva wanted to put a big Gopuram for the Anjaneyer in Alangudi, like that. Or on the Ashapadrar. So let us all, as disciples, implement this. Balabariva wanted to construct another Anjaneyer temple for 15 feet, like that and all we are getting, no? Now, what are those desires that they have called Swamiji? Because for us it is Sattva
Yes, that
Rajastama.
is Loka Kshemartham. Loka Kshemartham. See, they have no, they don't get any benefit by putting up a temple and all that. But it's good for the people around so that they can able to propitiate and all that. Will keep them in aligned to Ishvara. So Loka Kshemartham. So there they don't have a benefit. So it's Loka Kshemartham. You can't call it a desire. It is only for Loka Kshemartham. And people who contribute for you, it is a Ishtapurta karma, meaning it is a karma giving away some of your wealth and time and all that. It is a sort of a giving away, you grow bigger than what you give. So that gives you that punya, and Drishtapalam is you grow bigger than what you give. This is money is not a value for Ishwararpanam is more important. So that gives you a value inside. And as a punya also, because Purta karma means if you have any problem, any what you call chalanam in your mind or all that may go away because of the punya that is earned. Adhishtapalam and Drishtapalam. Drishtapalam is you are growing in giving. Adhishtapalam is it takes away either your papa and gives you some punya that will help you, give some grace, get the anugraha of the Ishvara or the Guru, you will be able to study. This is Adhishtapalam. So both are there.
Actually, sometimes in some Upanyasams, they are telling, you don't need to contribute to temple. You don't need to contribute for big activities. Give your mother money, give your father money, give your sister, brother money. Then give your immediate guru money.
Kanakku minchidan dhanamam dharmam. In the sense, your duties are first. Your duties are first. Giving later. Duty first and then you give. What extra you have, you give. Even time and money, whatever.
No, what they mean is sometimes they don't take care of the parents.
Ah,
Some people
correct.
they do outside.
That is that is you are doing vyapara with Bhagavan. He will know, no, that you are not taking care of your parents, you are giving money to me. He will not it will not give you punyam. It will perhaps Papa it will reduce, that's all. That is why the Prayachita Karma, you loot the government and loot the public and to construct temple, it only helps you to reduce the Papa. It doesn't give you punya.
Sri Bhagavan said, the wise know sannyasa as renunciation of actions for desired objects. The learned people say renunciation of the results of all actions is tyaga. The karmas told by the Veda. There are different types of karmas. Those enjoined in the Vedas as mandatory, nitya naimitika karmas, and those that are optional, kamya karmas. Punya is accrued by all of them. But even a nitya or naimitika karma done for the sake of security or pleasure, artha or kama, is considered to be a kamya karma. Among the karmas that are mentioned in the Vedas, some very simple like Agnihotra and some very elaborate like Ashwamedha can be considered as kamya karmas because they all produce results in the form of desired things. A nitya karma is to be performed daily. The Sandhya Vandana, for example, is done every day at sunrise, noon, and sunset by a person who has been initiated into the Gayatri mantra. Once he gets married, the Agnihotra and other karmas come into the picture. These are all Nitya karmas. Then we have the Naimittika karmas, those that are done on a given special occasion. On the day of an eclipse, for example, certain karma is enjoined. Similarly, when there is a particular configuration of planets in the zodiac, or on the death anniversary of the departed soul, there are prescribed rituals. These are called Naimittika karmas. These are mandatory. They have to be done. A Kamya karma, on the other hand, may or may not be done. If you have a desire for a son, there is a ritual prescribed for that, the Putra Kamishti. But if you do not want a son, or if you are not wealthy enough to perform the Putra Kamishti, you need not do it and the injunction is not violated. Similarly, there are any number of rituals which you can perform if you are interested in a given end. All of them are Kamya karmas and are purely optional. There is no mention made in the Vedas of the results of Nitya Naimittika karmas, but they also produce results because they are karmas. Whenever the result is not mentioned in the Shastra, there is a general rule that the result is heaven. These
Like heaven meaning Adrishtapalam.
Adrish-
Heaven means heaven and all related lokas. Yeah.
These Nitya Naimittika karmas also can be performed keeping that result in view and will therefore be Kamya karmas. Or they can be done for Antakarana Shuddhi. Though this is also a result, a karma done with this intention is not considered a Kamya karma. Even
Exactly.
a so-called
In the sense,
Kamya
what is
karma,
important? The motive is Antakarana Shuddhi means then it is not a Kamya karma. So we were very clear. Your attitude makes all the difference. Your Shraddha makes all the difference. Whether it is a Kamya karma or a what is a result oriented karma. Yeah.
even a so-called Kamya karma can be performed for Antakarana Shuddhi, in which case it is no longer considered a Kamya karma. There are two more types of karma we should know about. Like you said, even performing Archana, you only think of Antakarana Shuddhi.
Yeah, correct. Then it is not a Kamya
Kamya
karma.
karma.
Even though there might have done Sakalpa for Aishwarya, Abhyarthatam, etc., etc. But still, if you do it for Antakarana, that is your attitude, that is your Shraddha, then it is not a Kamya karma. It is only what you call karma that is being executed with you and it gives you Antakarana Shuddhi. That is Drishtapalam. It is not even Adrishtapalam. As you do it, you have that sense of calmness, tripti, and all that. As you do it, because I am doing it, that is prayojanam is there, not palam. Palam comes later, whatever it may be, you don't know exactly. But prayojanam will be there because the mind is focused and your Vishwara Arpanam is there, and that will give you automatically the grace. That's what Swamiji used to say, you earn the grace. Once you earn the grace will be useful for you to pursue knowledge. That is what.
Swamiji, in some temples, they charge some 500 rupees, 1000 rupees ticket to pass through the Vaikuntha Vasal on Vaikuntha.
Yeah. Why Vaikuntha Vasal? Every other day in Srirangam and all, there is always special entrance.
Yeah.
Special
So,
entrance.
what does it really mean? Is it
It is all purely commercial. There is nothing like Bhagavan in the sense. Yeah, we can say a little bit of. Definitely, there is no. There is little bit of papa may be involved because you are depriving the other guys who are going without ticket on a long queue and all that. So, but anyway, since you have not initiated, you can't say pannada karmathukku papam kidayadu. So you have not done anything to do because it is available. You are using it, but doesn't it saves you some time. That's all. Nothing beyond that. You don't get either punyam or papam by doing that. It's all purely commercial thing. There is no, in the sense, people who are initiating such charges and all that, trying to make some money out of it, they may incur some papa.
But they said that money goes for the temple for.
That's what. No, that is what, and that is only prayachita. That is whatever wrong action you did by giving. You are trying to bribe Bhagavan so that he takes care, dilutes your papa. That's all. So at the end of the day, really speaking, these are all purely mass religion. Now it has become totally commercial. Doesn't make any sense at all. Tell you.
And even in this Kuladevam Vadipadu, they actually say we need to do Abhishekam at least once a year for the Kuladevam along with Archana to the Kuladevam. Now, for a Kuladevam like mine, which is Perumal, Shaina Perumal, I will never be able to do Abhishekam. So, how does that Punya Papa come into effect, Swamiji, for Kuladeva, this thing? That will not come at all. I will not have Punya at all.
No. See, Punya Papa, see, the thing is that in the Kuladevam and all that, it's all the realm of karma only. Punya Papa, as long as Punya Papa calculus works only when you give reality to the Srishti. We say Srishti itself is only a prakriya. It's only a methodology. Like it is something like a construct in a theorem solving. Life called theorem, you want to solve it by using a construct. So till the time you don't understand the theorem, you use the construct. But once it is understood, the construct vanishes. The prakriya or the srishti also, at the end of the day, when you go through the whole thing, understanding is there, the prakriya doesn't matter. The reality is here and now. And there is reality is what? And you are the Desa Kala Vastu Aparichinnam. Once that understanding is there, the Punya Papa calculus does not work anymore. And if you try to understand, that also Shastra itself says, Dahana Karmano Gadihi. Don't try to do that calculus. It doesn't work. So we should not spend time on something which is not going to have an end game.
So the best part is, instead of paying 500 rupees and going in the queue to see Swami, somebody gives 50 rupees to that security.
Yeah, so that all that will happen. So it's all within corruption, and even with in the what you call in the light of dharma, you cannot even say whether it is dharma or adharma, because as long as you don't hurt others, it is not adharma. If you by giving 500 rupees you are not hurting others, apparently, if you don't you understand that you are not hurting others, then you will not feel any adharma and all that. But even though by local laws it may be adharma, if somebody gives 50 rupees to the archakar and goes inside, within the law of the temple also it is adharma. If they catch you, they will throw you out. That is all local legal. It has nothing to do with dharma and adharma. So dharma and adharma, even if you follow strictly as per what the scriptures say, every dharma involves adharma. Even when you do homa and the chulila irukra worm settu pochunaka, there is some adharma. So dharma involves, even when you do dharma with all the sincere heart, it involves adharma. And every adharma also has got a person who steals also goes and feeds his wife and children. So he is doing some karma, dharma. So it is a very, very slippery slope. And over and above that, we go to legality and other things. So basically it doesn't really, calculating dharma and adharma, punya, papa, doesn't really take us anywhere. That is why you do it. That is why the best thing is for antakarana shuddhi. And then when you do it for antakarana shuddhi, there is a drishtapalam, there is a prayojanam, there is no palam. There is prayojanam. Immediate prayojanam means your mind gets calmed down. There is an attitude of study, there is some calmness, then some discipline. Then you will be able to study, understand. So that is the way we should, rather than looking at the calculus of dharma and adharma, punya, papa, rituals and all that. We have to be doing it for, we have to be part of the society, we are doing. But the focus should be on antakarana shuddhi. That is what this whole thing is all about. Karma yoga as well as Vidya Sanya gives you antakarana shuddhi. That is how the whole topic will be.
And 2-3 things which are being asked commonly. One thing is someone who has, say for example, big businessman. He has left the business, handed over to someone, and he is doing some Nitya Karma in Sharadamba temple in POK, Pakistan occupied Kashmir. He is securely going, coming back. That's his life going forward. That's why he is leading some life like that. Now that person is not leading. He's basically shifted from a normal culture to a kind of culture where he's going to serve Sharadamba like that. Now that person says, I will not have, like basically like how Tantri, like those people. So for them, will this Kuladeva dosha, all those things really apply? That's the question.
No, they don't
they
apply.
ask.
Because, see, what is important is Pratyavaya dosha is called, will apply only with, instead of doing Sandhyavandanam, go and watch on TV or cricket, then the Pratyavaya dosha will apply. Okay, but you are doing something, if you are doing not Sandhyavandanam, and because you have got a particular puja attending and all that, where there is, your mind is focused on the Lord and doing oneness and all that, so that is all equivalent only, it doesn't really matter. So, Pratyavaya dosha will apply only when you are going for a worldly activity, living your Nitya karma. But if you are doing equally something, Ishwara Arpanam and all that, that is okay, that is possible. It is not it doesn't give you, on the face of it, doesn't give you any papa and all. But people may interpret differently. But it's not the question of interpretation. It is a question of what is your mind space. Your mind will be in good space when you are living up a particular activity which is Kuladeva Varipadu, instead of going there and going and doing some Saradamba Abhishekam in a given temple because you have taken to that lifestyle. It doesn't really matter. It is equally efficacious. No, people may say it doesn't matter.
And last question, sannyasa. In sannyasa also some karma pala is involved. I mean, we read that fourth chapter. We read fourth book. I think even a sannyasi does not have karma pala, but he will be doing karma for the sake of lokakshema. We understood that one. Now, Balapariva, for example, visited his first. I'm not judging. I'm just asking based on question that was asked in a forum. So he basically got into learning from one particular institution. So he went there again and he talked about his remembrance of those days when he was there. And then he has gone to some temple and said, this has been my Kuladeva, so I am visiting here every year because this seems to be my Kuladeva. So does sannyasis also have Kuladeva?
No, they don't have. There is no niyamam like that. But in terms of acharyas are concerned, matadipatis and all, for example, Shringeri, or there is a matadipa, there is a mata established, there is a puja and all involved. That is why they have the dandi. The dandam is that much of karma still remains for them. That is why the danda means. Otherwise, in our case, now we throw the danda in the Ganga when you take sannyasa. The danda is still the last ritual, thereafter we throw it away. So, there, for us, there is no niyama and all that. For them, there is some niyama because they are still having danda. That is the difference between dandi sannyasi and parivurajaka, paramahamsa parivurajaka sannyasi. Where everything is given up.
Sorry, Swamiji, if I should not ask this, I'm just asking because...
asking is there, but it doesn't help. What I am trying to say is that all this does not help us to grow.
No, in some forum, Swamiji, always... always...
More, it's only information and knowledge. I am always told information and knowledge does not help. Only understanding helps. There is a difference. There is a difference between knowledge, information and understanding.
Exactly.
Our focus should be on understanding, not gathering, whether it is Vaidika, ritual, everything. Knowledge and information does not help. I tell you, only understanding helps. Where you stay.
In every group discussion, there is always someone who is criticizing.
Yeah, that will always be there. Those are the things you should avoid. Just to cross over, just to pass by, just listen to it, keep it safe.
Even a so-called Kamya Karma can be performed for Antakarana.
These Nitya Naimitika karmas can also be performed keeping the results in view and will therefore be Kamya karmas. Or they can be done for Antakarana Shuddhi. Though this is also a result, a karma done with this intention is not considered a Kamya karma. Even a so-called Kamya karma can be performed for Antakarana Shuddhi, in which case it is no longer considered a Kamya karma. We finished there only. There are two more types of karma we should know about. One is Nishiddha karma, an action that we are not supposed to do and which is therefore prohibited. We are not supposed to harm any being and therefore it is said, Himsam na kuryat, do not hurt. These actions are prohibited because they produce papa, and Shastra being our well-wisher, Hitaisi, it has to tell us. It has to tell us this. The Kamya karmas are not prohibited. They can produce desirable results for you, but those results will be limited in nature. Then we have a fourth type of karma, a prayashchitta karma, which you do as an antidote for wrong actions done in the past. This completely absolves you from the result, karma phala, of those actions. That is also vihita, enjoined in the Vedas. If what you want, your purushartha, is very clear, then you will naturally drop karma karmas and perform only nitya naimittika karmas. This is renunciation.
Okay, we'll start that. And I sent you some article and all, just read that.
Sure, Swami. Thank you.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Harihi Om.
Hari
Om.
Om